Every time I make this dish with tomatoes, I'm reminded of my father. My father loved tomatoes, and this was one of his very favorites. In fact, the family story is that he married my mother because she didn't like tomatoes, and he thought he would have a lifetime of being able to eat her tomatoes, which he did. So how I wish you were here today to enjoy what was really one of his favorite dishes, bruschetta. To make this family favorite, you'll need lots of vine-ripened tomatoes, fresh garlic, I'll be using 2 cloves, fresh basil, a nice quality olive oil, balsamic vinegar, lemon, salt, half of a chopped small shallot, some dried Italian seasoning, pepper, and a loaf of Italian bread. So as I start to make this bruschetta, and I did say bruschetta with a long K, I have had many of my Italian-speaking friends correct me, and so I have finally learned how to pronounce it properly. Not the way most Americans say bruschetta, but the Italian way, bruschetta, with the hard K. As I start to cut my beautiful cherry tomatoes, I'm cutting them in half and then into small pieces. I like this cut fairly fine. I don't like big chunks of tomato in my bruschetta. So I'm grating garlic into our tomatoes. I'm using 2 cloves of garlic in this recipe. The next thing I'll do is sprinkle our dried Italian herbs, lots of oregano. I'll add the chopped shallots, and I've already chopped up the basil. It was about 6 basil leaves. And now I'll add the pepper. So I've stirred it all together. I'm going to start with a pinch of salt. I like to use kosher salt. The juice of 1 lemon, just squeezed directly into the mixture. A little seed that needs to come out. About a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. I might adjust that. That might not have been quite enough, but I'll know after I taste it. And about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Again, just with my eye. Now I'm going to mix it together, taste it, cover it with plastic, and put it in the refrigerator until we have it for dinner this evening. I'm going to taste it for seasoning. That's very good. The next process is we need to make our little toasts so that we have something to put our delicious tomatoes on. And I start by adding a generous amount of olive oil into my pan. I love my little pastry brush here. And then I add a generous pinch of salt. And then I have my pre-cut little pieces of bread. These are thin little pieces of bread, so these are more crostinis than they are anything else. Bruschetta actually is a piece of bread that's cut much thicker, and a crostini is the same bread, just cut thinner, and also toasted with olive oil. So I press this all down. Now I'm going to flip it over to make sure that they're coated on both sides, and then I'm going to cook this on the stove. I'm choosing the stove top because it's a hot day today. You can also do this in the oven. You'd spread these out on a baking sheet and put them in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350 to toast. Our little toasts are looking beautiful. They're getting nice and brown and crispy, and they're going to be just perfect. Bruschetta originated in Italy during the 15th century, but bruschetta can actually be traced back to ancient Rome when olive growers would bring their olives to the local press and taste a sample of their freshly pressed olive oil using a piece of bread. Food has always been very precious, and especially back in Europe, where food was oftentimes scarce, and so making these little toasts was a great way to use little stale pieces of bread, and it became quite a popular appetizer in Italian homes.